At 18, I married Rich, and he was 20, almost 21 at the time. We bought a house at 17. I worked all through high school, had $10,000 down payment to buy our first house. And I went to Butler University because it was right down the street. And then in 1990, we had our first child, and we started a business. He was in the automotive business with his parents, and his lifelong dream was to be a new car dealer. He was been in used cars his whole life. So we had an opportunity to purchase a new franchise dealership in 1999. And so we pooled our money together and purchased it. So we went from a used car dealer now to a new car dealer. He loved sticking it to the other dealers because he believed in his mind that he wasn't good enough because he didn't have a college degree and he didn't come up from the ranks of the other manufacturers. He just winging a prayer, and he got this dealership, and we made it work. We sunk every dollar that we could in that thing to make it work, and it was great. I mean, it was fun, it was exciting. You know, my office had duct tape on the window when we first bought it, and I was like, just leave the duct tape, it's fine, I don't even care, this is exciting. And he said to me, honey, don't quit your day job, because this isn't gonna make any money here for the first couple of years. Not a problem. I was in advertising. I had a job, made some good money, and so here we were cultivating this dealership on a really seedy part of town, but that's all right. It started to make money, started to turn a profit. The dealership manufacturer was always very generous with, you know, trips and, you know, how they are. You get all these incentives, and he was doing really well. He was bringing the business back up from the bottom where it was when he purchased it.
I met Rich probably in 1998 or so. I worked for an IT firm. We did websites, web design. I remember Rich came in and said, I bought this domain and we need to hook it up to the website. And the domain was 4 letters and it was a car manufacturer. But he owned that domain, and we were like, how'd you get that? And well, I went and bought it, and I bought all these other ones. He had bought like 300 domains, all derivatives, and we were loving it. We were like, wow, like you're going to get some traffic. So, we worked on strategies with his different websites. He didn't just have a website for the dealership. He would make websites to sell parts. Always hustling. You could always tell he was coming in hot to the meeting, had an agenda, this is what we need done this week. What do you guys think about this? Advise me, give me, strategy, whatever. Okay, I got to go. And he would be out like super fast.
The manufacturer said that, we could move our facility, and we had to build a new facility. And so we were looking around trying to find some land. And so we found some land, and we had enough money saved that we could actually purchase the land in cash. We really thought we were doing amazing. And then we built this new facility, $11 million facility in 2006. 2007, great, gangbusters. We were, tripling our numbers. Everything was great. We just couldn't get over how awesome it was that we moved the facility and the business was doing so well. Then the crash happened of 2008, 2009. And we had almost $2 million in savings, and in 18 months, that $2 million went to zero. So he, did everything that he could for us. People weren't buying cars. We knew what it cost to the overhead of the dealership to open the doors, turn the lights on, and it didn't take long for me to understand that we're not going to make it. I knew how much money we had in the bank, and I knew we had to start writing checks out of it. And we'd write a $300,000 check. 2 weeks later, we'd have another $200,000 check. 2 weeks later, $400,000 check. I was always the one that said, let's not worry about it. Let's just get out of here. What's going to happen? The worst thing that can happen is the dealership goes away. We get another job. In my heart, I loved him. I wanted to just figure it out, but I was saying it all wrong. And so for him, he just became isolated, working, but There were no signs of anxiety in the fact that I think that he was ready to do something drastic. Never in my mind ever thought that. Like, thanks, honey, for saying, well, don't worry about it, just let it go. But I'm not gonna let it go. Like, I'm gonna figure this out. That's how I looked at it. Like, he is, every day trying to figure it out, trying to get some money, trying to get this thing, to turn back around. So I thought, that's great. You just keep at it. But if not, it's okay too. On November 10th, 2009, at 1:00 in the morning, he wasn't home. And I thought, and then I had this dread, like something bad happened. I'm in my mind thinking he had a heart attack. Like, he's been stressed out, he's been nose to the grindstone. He had a heart attack. And I get to the dealership, and of course I don't have a key because, I lose keys. So I don't have a key. So I called Jeanette, and I'm like hysterical. Jeanette, you've got to come over. I think something bad happened to Rich. He's inside. I can't get in. His car's here. I know he's in there. Get over here quickly. So Jeanette's like, I'm going to call 911. I said, okay. So Jeanette calls 911, and the police get there. The fire get there. They take the key from Jeanette, and they're like, we're going to go in. And I'm still thinking heart attack, stroke, like over on the desk, that I'm thinking that. And then they tell me what really happened. And I was like, no, there's no way. No way. And then I was like, I have to go tell the kids what happened. The worst day of my life. Saturday afternoon, I have a picture of him with our youngest son, Jack. And Jack had just made the basketball team at the middle school. So there's a picture of those two. That's the last picture that was taken of Rich, because he lost his life to suicide Sunday. I look at that picture and I go, that is the picture of suicide, because you would have never thought in a million years that was going through his mind. He's side by side with Jack, super excited. He just got, the basketball team. He thought he was worth more dead than alive. But in reality, I had $11 million I had to come up with. It was the most surreal and terrifying thing of my life. I have 4 children, ages 12 to 19. I owe $11 million. I got $2 million from his life insurance. I don't know how that adds up, but that's still $9 million I got to come up with. I have a house that now has a mortgage. I have no college funds for my kids. And I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to stay in my house. I don't know anything. I don't know what to do. All I know is I gotta go forward. I have to, as I told him, we'll just figure it out. Now I have to figure it out. And that gave me a huge amount of perspective within 12 hours. Because what I realized is now I understand what men go through. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you have to figure it out. Like today, 12 hours after he dies, I've got the manufacturer, I've got banks, I've got multiple creditors asking me, what am I gonna do? What's going on? And I had to figure it out.
And 90 employees.
I didn't realize the importance and the pressure that men in our society is under, and the way you find success is through taking care of your family, taking care of your business, taking care of the community. And when you can't do that, you think that you failed. And I didn't realize until I was in that position as a woman that I had all of those things above me and on my shoulders. I had that aha moment of, oh my gosh, this is how it feels. And I couldn't talk to anyone. I felt isolated. And I just would love for men to talk to other men. Because I'm a woman. Women don't get it. We don't get it until it's too late. Maybe there's some women out there that get it. But even if they do get it, we're still women. And we just don't have the same emotional profile that men do. And so I hope I can say all the right things to Matt when he's in a situation that he needs to hear something because of what I've learned in the past. But I'm sure I don't say it completely correct. I'm sure I don't say it the way a man would say it to him. Just like a woman can talk to another woman and say things that a man couldn't say, no matter how intuitive they are. I would hope that when you have that isolation feeling, that you just don't think that, you have anyone that's in your situation. I would like to let you know that there are a lot of men in that situation. And I don't or didn't like telling my story for that reason, because the way my story comes off is, I feel, shallow, money related, how many, things can you own? And I just don't want it to come off that way, because it's not about that, but it is about taking care of your family. And however that picture is in a man's mind, if that picture isn't happening, that's when they become isolated. And his picture was his business, his community, and his family were all falling apart in his mind. I would love, to talk to other men just to tell the story, but I don't know that I would be a good person to say the right words to get them out of the isolation, except for this is what's going to happen after the fact if you go through with it. But to talk you through the emotional state that you're in, I think it has to come from another man.